Hi, my love. Welcome to the Godly Femme podcast. My name is Jumoke Win, and here we discuss all things Christian hypergamy, leveling up, and godly femininity. Check us out at godlyfemme.com. Okay, we're going to talk about men with high resource potential. We're going to talk about hypergamy today. Give you a quick hypergamy lesson. So, what is a man with high resource potential? A man with high resource potential is a man who may not be able to provide right now, but he has the characteristics and even he's on a practical journey to have it soon or eventually. Men who fall into this bucket are maybe entrepreneurs, men who are in like a PhD program, men who are in a residency, men who have certain characteristics, right? Now, for a man who is on a certain track or has built up something for himself, but he may not be there yet, this is something to consider because I know majority of my audience is probably in their 20s and they're like, okay, Jamalka, I know you're always saying date and marry a provider man, but I'm in my 20s and I can't fathom dating someone who is 10 years older than me, or there's such a huge age gap. So if you're someone who's maybe in your early 20s and you're ready for marriage, it might seem like the only men who are available for marriage in the dating market, they're usually in their 30s. I think that's a sweet spot when it comes to men. Most men have something, right? And they are ready for marriage in their early 30s, I would say. Early 30s is the sweet spot for men. If you're in the date to marry market, the men who are ready for marriage, that's the sweet spot, okay? But maybe, again, if you're in your early 20s, that might be such a huge generational and cultural, clash between you two. They're like, okay, this man is too old. We don't relate too much. I want to date someone who's closer to my age. So this is a caveat that you can consider. Now I'm going to tell you a few things to be aware of when it comes to dating men with high resource potential so that you can make the best informed decision. But first, I think I have to reiterate, don't date if you're not ready for marriage, okay? Don't date if you're not ready for marriage. It doesn't make any sense to simply look for a boyfriend and you're vetting a man if he can be a good boyfriend, but not vetting him if he can be a good husband and a father, right? And I know, again, if you're dating a man who's young just like you, that seems so far off. Neither of you are thinking about marriage, but it's going to come one day. And you don't want to just wake up 5 years later and be like, hey, I, used up all this time. When are you going to marry me? But that was never on the table in the first place. You always want to have the end in mind when you are dating. So don't just date a man who is good for the meantime. Date a man who's good for the long time. All right. So the first thing when it comes to a man with high resource potential that you have to consider is what was he able to build up before you got there. Now, obviously, it wouldn't be as much as a man who's already established, but you want to look at his life. Does he have the character of a man who is going to have it one day? Does he have something? Is he already in school, or is he just talking about it, right? Is he studious? Is he resourceful? Is he ambitious? What does this man do on his spare time? Again, take yourself out of it. Take your feelings out of it. Just look at his character, right? Is he been saving up as small as it is, saying, hey, one day I'm going to have a wife and kids. I need to start having better money management today. I need to get this ready today. What does he consume, right? Because he could be in school getting a useless degree and just playing video games all day, with his bros, which is like, okay, what else are you going to do with your life, right? A man who is serious today is his character. But a man who's not serious today, it's going to be a gamble. Even if he is on a professional track, if he is someone who is not serious about life, okay? He's not serious about life. He is not serious about establishing himself as a man. This is something you need to be aware of. Second thing I would, give advice for and tell you to consider Consider men who are at least in the halfway point or towards the end of their journey, okay, to establishment. What I mean by that is a man who is probably already in residency, or at least in their last year of medical school, law school, whatever. They're towards the end of that professional track, or if they're doing entrepreneurship or a startup, they are halfway through, right? They're at least towards the end. Maybe they've already started a business, and they've already been doing business for a few years, something, right? Like, and you see, like, okay, I've seen that they have built this business for a few years. This is how much money that they started to make. This is what they're implementing, and they have been on go, right, for the past 3 years, just building and building and building. The reason I say you should consider someone who's towards the end of their establishment path is because a man who is in the beginning is still, it's a gamble to marry someone like that, to settle down with someone like that, because getting into a program is one thing, but staying in it and graduating from that program is another thing. It's not about how you start, it's about how you end. So just consider that as well. Hey, where are they in their program? And is this still a bit too unsettled, right? Like, are they not, they're still trying to figure it out. They're only in their first semester of school or an advanced degree. It's still too early to decide if this person is who they say that they are. Okay. So those are the things I want you to consider. Oh, one more thing. If you're going to consider a man who has high resource potential, right, and you want to date and marry him before he actually achieves it, you have to vet them for their character, and you also have to make sure you are the best version of yourself. Okay? Sometimes, this happens sometimes, women might meet a man who's at his lowest or who is just starting something before he's established, and they were able to get with him because of circumstances. It's really a coincidence. There was not an intentionality between them dating and marrying. So a man might marry his high school sweetheart just because they're in high school, right? And they just happen to be together. But you need to make sure you're the best version of yourself, so that whether a man was in the middle of building, right, today versus being established tomorrow, he would have still chose you either time. That's very important. It's very important that a man doesn't choose you out of convenience because you were just there building with him, and he chose you because you were the woman that he wanted to be with. That you were his bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh. Not just you happen to be lucky. Okay? This is super important, right? You want to make sure that the man actually likes you and is not just looking for a placeholder girlfriend, just in the meantime, and is wasting your time simply because he needs someone to hold him down while he establishes himself. We do not build men around here, right? We don't build men. So don't have this mindset of like, oh, we're building together and one day he's going to reward me. No, it's better that you are his dream girl when he meets you. Even if he didn't feel fully ready, right, as a man, he didn't feel fully established as a man, he would still pick you multiple times over. Okay, that is super important. So those are just a few things I think you should consider when it comes to dating and considering men for marriage who have high resource potential. I hope you enjoyed this hypergamy lesson, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Godly Femme podcast. If you would like more help in your femininity journey, make sure that you do sign up for our 7-day Godly Femininity Challenge, and also that you join our free Facebook mentorship group, Black Hypergamous Christian Women. All the details are in the description.